Hello viewers, yes, this is Ranjana ma'am and you are watching, yes, it's mine as well as your channel. So while in my last video I had gone for the probable chapters, I had also told you that I will discuss in details Julius Caesar and the others which from where you can expect the extracts to come in the exam. I'm not saying they will come, but I'll point out the important places because there is a probability of their coming. Again, I repeat, I'm not saying they will come. There are chances because they are important from the drama context. So, we'll start with Julius Caesar, Act 3, Scene 1. Scene 1 is very important. Why? Because here the main protagonist, Julius Caesar, was brutally assassinated by the people whom he trusted. So, let's go to it. This one, Caesar says, while on his way to the capital, Caesar, or rather, he reaches the parliament and he asks the people, "Are we all ready? What is now amiss that Caesar and his senate must redress?" And then Metellus Cimber approaches. So this was the plan. Metellus Cimber will approach. He will plead on behalf of his brother. Naturally, Caesar will get annoyed. He will become arrogant, and it will give the opportunity to the other conspirators to plead on behalf of Metellus Cimber's brother and in a way surround him from all sides. So this extract is important. So let's hear the questions. Where are the speakers? What does puissant mean? And explain. Metellus Cimber throws before thy seat a humble heart. So, where are the speakers is the first part. First question, or the first part of the question. There are three parts in question number 1. Where, what does puissant mean, and explanation. So 1 marks each. So the speakers are at the Capitol or the Senate House. So underline Capitol and Senate. Don't forget, I've been telling you, don't forget to underline the keywords. They are the ones which fetch you the full marks. So Capitol and Senate. Underline these two words because this will attract the examiner's attention that you have written the right answer. And then puissant means powerful or strong, mighty. So if you're writing powerful, underline it. And then the third one, explain. Metellus Cimber throws before thy seat a humble heart. So you are told to explain it. So you will have to explain it in context. So this line means that Metellus Cimber pleads to Caesar very humbly to listen to his appeal. So, throws before thy seat. So this line means that Metellus Cimber pleads. So pleads, underline pleads, before mighty Caesar that he should humbly listen to his appeal. So he very humbly prostrates himself before Caesar and pleads to him, please listen to my appeal. Then the next question is, at the beginning of the scene, Caesar says, the Ides of March are come. The Ides of March is a very important line here. So what does he mean by saying the Ides of March are come? So the first question is, who do you think Caesar said this? What does the soothsayer say in response? Obviously, when Caesar sees the soothsayer among the crowd, he, as if in a taunting manner, reminds, see, today the Ides of March are come. That means I'm still alive. You had warned me, but I'm still alive. So, Caesar said this because the soothsayer had warned him earlier to be aware the Ides of March. So, he is saying this to the soothsayer. Underline the soothsayer. And why did he say? He said these words to remind the soothsayer that he is still alive and nothing has happened to him. What does the soothsayer say in response? One line answers here, because there are three parts, and that make your that will give you your 3 marks. So you don't need to write paragraphs on this. So what does he say in response? So what is his response? So the soothsayer tells that yes, the day Ides of March has arrived, but it hasn't gone yet, and that is what really happened. Caesar died within a few minutes, rather, maybe half an hour. Now the next one, question number 3. What specific duties do the conspirators allot to Trebonius and Casca? And why does Cassius become nervous when Populus Lena speaks to him as they enter? So what are the jobs assigned to Trebonius and Casca? Trebonius' job is to take Mark Antony out of the way, because he is a very brave general. So if he stays there, the assassination of Julius Caesar might face obstacles. So Trebonius' job is to take Mark Antony away. And what is the job assigned to Casca? Casca has been given the job to strike Caesar first. So strike Caesar first. And Trebonius taking Mark Antony out of the way. Underline the key words or key phrases. These are phrases because more than one word. And regarding Cassius, why does he become nervous when Populus Lena speaks to him? So Populus Lena wishes that their enterprise might thrive. Remember this line? And this is what makes Cassius nervous. He feels that their plan has been discovered. What does Artemidorus want of Caesar? Artemidorus, you know, has written a letter, and he wants to present it to Caesar so that Caesar can get alarmed, and in that way he can save himself. So he pleads to Caesar to read it first because it concerns him. But what does Caesar say? Caesar says that if it concerns me, it will be read last. And the last one, which is the 4 marks one. Shortly after this exchange, Caesar is stabbed to death by the conspirators. Whom do you sympathize with? So you will have to think and write. For whom is your sympathy? For the conspirators or for Julius Caesar? Obviously it will be for Julius Caesar, because he trusted Brutus and Brutus betrayed him. He trusted these people and he thought that they love him, and he came along with them to the capital. Decius Brutus is another. And he felt that these people, they love me, and he joined them and he came to the capital. So he feels betrayed, and he feels most betrayed when Brutus, who was like his angel, that means his best friend, he is the one who comes and stabs Caesar last. And Caesar, when he sees Brutus, he cannot bear it anymore. And then comes the famous line, et tu Brute, then falls Caesar. So Caesar might have had his faults, but he was a bit arrogant. Yes, he was ambitious. But at the same time, he loved Roman people. That is what Mark Antony proved in Act 3, Scene 2. His love for the Roman people. When the poor cried, they suffered miseries, Caesar also felt sad. So his assassination was brutal and also deceitful. Brutal, deceitful. So it was done under the garb of friendship and loyalty. Brutus was a friend and he killed Caesar. So this is how you will write your answers, with the keywords and key phrases underlined. And to the point, I said 3 marks, not more than this. So if there are 3 subdivisions, 1 line each, at the most 2 lines and nothing more. So together it should be 3 to 4 lines. Another extract from Act 3, Scene 1. I could be well moved if I were you. So this one, and constant do remain to keep him. So this is a very important passage. So here we find Caesar, and Caesar calling himself the Northern Star or comparing himself to the Northern Star. So why does he bring in the reference of the Northern Star? To show that the Northern Star, which remains fixed in its place, that means it is noted for its constancy. So Caesar wants to prove, or rather he wants to say, that he is also constant like the Northern Star. So what are the questions? What does Caesar mean when he compares? This is what I was just saying. And what is the Northern Star known for? So the Northern Star is known for its constancy. It remains fixed in one place, whereas the other stars, they move about. So constancy. And when Caesar compares himself to the Northern Star, he means to say that Caesar doesn't yield, or he doesn't cower before any external pressure. So in the same way, he remains constant in spite of pressures coming from outside. Like these people, all of them have surrounded Caesar, but still, like Cassius falling in front of his feet, Brutus coming and pleading, Metellus Cimber pleading, but he doesn't succumb to these external pressures. How does Caesar justify his decision to keep Metellus Cimber's brother banished? So he says that he is as determined as the Northern Star, as constant as the Northern Star. So these emotional appeals will have no effect on him. So he says that when he had decided to banish Publius Cimber, Metellus Cimber's brother, he was constant, and he plans to remain constant. He keeps on upholding his decision of the banishment of Metellus Cimber's brother. What does the phrase "men are flesh and blood and apprehensive" imply about Caesar's view of others? So what does Caesar mean to say through these lines? So Caesar views that men, they are vulnerable. They can be easily swayed by uncertainties and fears. But Caesar is a contrast. Here he tries to project his superiority. I am not like these people. So there are stars, but the Northern Star remains fixed. All the other stars move about. So if the other men are like other stars, he is like the Northern Star. And then he says that men are made of flesh and blood. That is common of all men. And Caesar is also no exception. But what is the difference between Caesar and other men? So he is unique, he is exceptional. So he is different from the common man. Why? Because he is like the Northern Star. He is resolute and not affected by emotional blackmailing, like these conspirators were trying to do. How does Caesar's speech reflect his attitude towards power and leadership? So Caesar's speech reflects an attitude of what? Quite self-assured, confident. He believes that a leader must be resolute. Otherwise, these laws will become like games of children, every day changed, every day. So he is steadfast in his decision and he will not change it under pressure. So this shows his belief in being strong. It also hints at arrogance. Here we find him a bit arrogant. So you all are like this. I am not like that. I am like the Northern Star, high, superior, mighty. Just see, he's being arrogant. And this is what the conspirators want, that he should be portrayed as an arrogant man who would make them his slaves once he attains power. And that is why they eliminated him. He would have made them slaves. So the conspirators brought freedom to the people. And what is the significance of Caesar's use of celestial imagery in this speech? 4 marks. So here you can write 2 short paragraphs, 2 and 2. So celestial imagery, he is referring to the stars and also to the northern star. So he wants to heighten his status. He wants to project that he is not like the common people, he is quite above them, like the stars. So comparing himself to the northern star, Caesar tries to project that his decisions are divine and irreversible. You cannot change them. And he uses this grand imagery and tries to show his self-perceived greatness and his inevitability. Then another very important extract is, et tu Brute, then falls Caesar. So this is what Caesar tells Brutus when he sees Brutus stabbing him. And after that, it ends here. Ambition's debt is paid. So up till here. So what is the significance of these words? Et tu Brute, then falls Caesar. So these are Caesar's last words. And what does it project? It projects his shock and betrayal when he sees his close friend Brutus stabbing him. And then falls Caesar. Through this, he suggests, actually, he feels hopeless, he feels sad, he feels defeated, that his best friend is one of the conspirators. If anyone else had been, the other conspirators, when they kill him, yes, he bears the attack, he stands and bears it. But Brutus's attack completely shattered him. He feels defeated. So underline defeated. If you are using shattered, underline him. And he gives himself or resigns himself to his fate. So resigns himself to his fate, shattered, and feels defeated. So these are the key words. How does Cinna's exclamation, liberty, freedom, tyranny is dead, reflect the conspirators' justification for Caesar's assassination? So whereas Caesar says, et tu Brute, then falls Caesar, the conspirators shout that liberty, freedom, enfranchisement. So when he shouts out, Cinna, who's the one who says this first? Cinna. So when Cinna shouts out these, so it reflects that the conspirators believe that Caesar's death was necessary to bring back liberty and freedom in Rome, which had been missing in Caesar's time. Caesar, they are trying to project Caesar as a tyrant. And that is why in the death of Caesar, these are being restored to the common people. So he says tyranny is dead. So through this, Cinna suggests that Caesar's death brings the end of the autocratic rule, dictatorship, and again the beginning of democracy or freedom for the people of Rome. What does Cassius mean by urging others to cry out liberty, freedom, and enfranchisement? So what is Cassius's meaning? What does he mean by it? So go to the common pulpits and cry out these. So through this, he is instructing, he is the leader. Though he keeps Brutus in front as the leader, but he is the mastermind. So what does he mean? That go and announce that Caesar's death is a victory for the Republicans, democracy. And liberty, freedom, and enfranchisement, which was in danger during Caesar's rule, they are being reinforced. They will be reinforced. So he wants to make the people be sure that Caesar's assassination is as if a freedom from tyranny. And through this, he is trying to get the public support. Public will support me. Public will support us. Once they get to know that Caesar died because of his ambition, and we want to establish freedom and liberty in Rome. And how does Brutus attempt to calm the crowd with his statement? People and senators, be not affrighted, fly not, stand still, ambition's debt is paid. So, what does Brutus want to say through these lines? So, he talks to the public. They were in a state of panic stricken. So, see, Brutus wants to reassure them that don't be afraid, don't run away. So remain calm and composed. Why? Because through this he's trying to tell, we are not going to harm you. We killed Caesar. Why? Because he was very ambitious, and as such, we have dealt with him by giving him death, and we want to drive away dictatorship and bring in democracy. And then the 4 marks question. How do these lines collectively convey the theme of betrayal? Theme of betrayal? On one side, it's betrayal for Caesar. He feels he has been betrayed. And the conspirators' justification of the actions. The conspirators, they try to justify that no, we have brought freedom to Rome. So, the lines highlight the deep personal betrayal felt by Caesar, especially when he sees Brutus among the conspirators. And conspirators, they are trying to justify their action by saying that whatever they are doing is for the general good of Rome, or rather the greater good of Rome. So there is a sort of contradiction. Caesar feels betrayed, and the conspirators feel they have done the right job. Why? Because they have brought freedom to the people of Rome. So in this one, you can write in 2 paragraphs, and don't forget to underline the keywords. Another one, when Mark Antony returns, and the speech, the first reaction of Mark Antony when he sees the body of Caesar lying at the base of Pompeii. So you will focus on this one. This is very important. O mighty Caesar, till the choice and master spirits of this age. This extract is very important, and it may come all chances. I'm not saying it is 100%, but yes, in this scene, this is a very powerful speech given by Mark Antony. Before he speaks to the conspirators, the shock and the grief on seeing Caesar's body lying in the ground. And half an hour ago, when he had left Caesar, he was at the height of his power. So the questions are, how does Antony's opening question, O mighty Caesar, dost thou lie so low, reflect his emotional response to Caesar's death? And then what does Antony imply by asking, are all thy conquest glories, triumphs, spoils shrunk to this little measure? So he is highlighting or trying to highlight the futility of Caesar's achievements. He had achieved a lot in his lifetime, but now it is only as much land as is occupied by the body of Caesar, corpse of Caesar. So all his victories, his achievements have now been reduced to insignificance in his death. And the third one, why does Antony refer to the conspirators' swords as being made rich with the most noble blood of all this world? Yes, Caesar's blood, it was very high and mighty, it was very valuable. And when the weapons of the conspirators drove in the body of Caesar, and the blood of Caesar stained these weapons, so naturally it enriched the swords. Why? Because they became stained with the most valuable blood of this world. So through this, he is trying to highlight Caesar's greatness. He is trying to project that they have not just killed a man called Caesar, but someone who is of great value and importance. So this is why the swords of the conspirators have become valuable in the death of Caesar, because it is stained with the blood of Caesar. And what does Antony mean when he says, if I myself there is no hour so fit as Caesar's death hour? So he is trying to tell the conspirators that if you want, who is next in your list? If you want to kill me, I'm ready. Why? Because this is the best time for me to die. Why? Because this is the hour in which Caesar died. So I wouldn't find a most fitting hour. Then I wouldn't find the most fitting place. Why? Because this is lying next to Caesar. And also I wouldn't find a better weapon, because this weapon has been stained by the blood of Caesar and will give me death this through, and I will die at the hands of the most noted people of Rome, most famous people of Rome. So through this he shows his willingness to die, and it also highlights his reflects his loyalty to Caesar. And the fifth one, it is of 4 marks. So when it is of 4 marks, I'm telling you, you can write two short paragraphs, 2 marks one and the 2 marks the next one. And this time it is not a 1 mark answer. It is 2 marks, so you will write 2 to 3 lines. So how does Antony's speech serve as both a subtle challenge to the conspirators and a declaration of loyalty to Caesar? So he tries to provoke through this, though it is a suppressed one. And also his sadness, his sorrow at the death of Caesar, and also his loyalty towards Caesar is portrayed. So outwardly he expresses his sadness, his grief, and also his willingness to die. He reminds them of Caesar's greatness and the gravity of the crime which they have committed, and this is a subtle challenge to the conspirators. So he says no other means of death would please him as much as dying by Caesar's side. So it shows his loyalty towards Caesar. And it also highlights Antony's personal loss and also potential for future revenge, because at this moment, though he is talking very nicely with the conspirators, but the thought of revenge is burning in his heart. So in the very next speech which I am going to point out, after the conspirators have left, that is another very important speech of Act 3, Scene 1. So once the conspirators leave, we find the real Antony and his real feelings. Oh, pardon me, thou bleeding piece of earth, that I am meek and gentle with these butchers. And what is going to happen in the aftermath of the assassination, he predicts. So what does he predict? That over thy wounds now do I prophesy, which like dumb mouths do ope their ruby lips. A curse shall light upon the limbs of men. Domestic fury and fierce civil strife shall cumber all parts of Italy. So this is his prophecy. So this is what he feels will happen. So what does Antony mean by addressing Caesar's body as thou bleeding piece of earth? So why does he call Caesar's body bleeding piece of earth? So Caesar's body is lifeless. It has become just like the earth. And bleeding, why? Because it is stained with the blood of Julius Caesar. So this emphasizes the gravity of Caesar's fall. So he was a powerful ruler. A few, maybe an hour ago, he was the most powerful person of this earth. And within minutes, he becomes lifeless. His body is lying lifeless. His body has become a corpse because there is no life in it. So it also highlights the disrespectful nature in which the death of Caesar took place. They murdered him and his body is lying in the ground. So as if they have polluted something which is very holy. So Caesar is representative of God on earth. He is trying to be portrayed as something divine. And these conspirators, they have polluted that. And how does Antony's use of the word butchers? I am meek and gentle with these butchers. To describe the conspirators, reflect his attitude towards them. Yes, his attitude, real attitude towards the conspirators and their actions. So his deep, what should we say, hatred, disdain, and condemnation for these conspirators. And what does it reflect? It reflects Antony's belief that their actions were not right. They were brutal. They were dishonorable. It also emphasizes his anger and the outrage that he feels when he sees the dead body of Caesar. So, outrage he feels towards the conspirators. And Antony's prophecy, analyze it. How does this foreshadow the events to come? So, what does he prophesize? That a curse shall light upon the limbs of men. Domestic fury, that means civil war and fierce civil strife. So he's predicting or prophesizing a civil war. That means between followers of Caesar and the conspirators. So he as if foresees the outcome of violent outcome of the actions of the conspirators. They have done their job, they have killed Caesar. But what will happen after this? So Rome, the Republic, will be in a state of chaos and turmoil. So there will be widespread civil war in and around Rome. Rather, the whole of Italy will suffer on account of this. And what is the significance of Antony personifying Caesar's wound as dumb mouths that ope their ruby lips? The wounds of Caesar are like dumb mouths. They cannot speak, they have no voice. And they are pleading to Mark Antony to speak on behalf of them, to give them justice. How does this metaphor enhance the speech's impact? So, two questions. So, you can divide them into two. The 3 marks, so 1.5 and 1.5. So Antony's personification of Caesar's wounds as dumb mouths that ope their ruby lips. Why does he say ruby lips? Because blood is coming out from those wounds, so naturally they are red. So it creates a very haunting image of the wounds as if they are seeking justice. And they want Antony to speak on behalf of them. So the wounds, they are crying out and wanting Antony to take revenge. And there are two functions that Antony's speech serves. This is the last one, again with 4 marks. Identify and elaborate them. So it functions on 2 levels. One, he is sad at the death of Caesar, so it is a lamentation. And also a call against the conspirators, telling the people, yes, he plans his revenge. So when he talks of domestic fury and fierce civil strife and the curse that will fall on the conspirators, so through this he is trying to hint at the desire for revenge and punishment to those who have done this deed. So this is as if a provocation. When the conspirators are referred to as butchers. And in a way he is predicting the civil war that will take place widespreadly all over Rome, or rather all over Italy. And then the last extract can also come. This is comparatively easy. We have discussed the difficult ones. When Mark Antony sees the servant of Octavius come. So this one. Here is a mourning Rome, a dangerous Rome, no Rome of safety for Octavius yet. Hie hence and tell him so, yet stay a while. So he has second thoughts after that. So the questions are, What instructions that in Antony give to the servant? So Antony gives instructions to the servant that immediately rush and go and tell Octavius Caesar of what has taken place in Rome. And also emphasize this fact that Rome is not safe for him, it is dangerous. And he wants that the servant, and then he has second thoughts, and he wants that the servant should wait until he delivers his speech to the crowd, and then judging by the instruction, by the reaction of the audience, he will go and relate everything to Octavius Caesar. So he has already started planning in his mind. Why does Antony say Rome is dangerous? Whom is it not safe for? Why? 3 parts. Why does he say Rome is dangerous? So Antony describes Rome as dangerous because of the political instability that will engulf Rome after the death of Caesar. So naturally it is unsafe for Octavius. Why? Because he is Caesar's heir. So they might want to kill Octavius also in order to take control over Rome. They might want to kill Octavius, so it is not safe for him. So he describes Rome as mourning. So this shows the grief over Julius Caesar's death, and also it gives a hint of the civil war that might soon take place, which might soon follow. And mention any 3 predictions that Antony makes when left alone with Julius Caesar's dead body. So 3 predictions and 3 marks means 1 mark for each prediction. So first he says, or prophecies, that a curse will fall upon the limbs of the conspirators. Second one, civil war will plague Italy, and Caesar's death will lead to widespread chaos and revenge. So underline, curse will fall, civil strife, and chaos and revenge. So these predictions, what do they reveal? They reveal Mark Antony's deep sorrow and also indignation at the death of Caesar, and his desire to avenge by inciting the people of Rome and turning them against the conspirators. What was Brutus and Cassius's opinion of Antony? Whose assessment about Antony was correct? Justify your answer. So yes, both of them, they give their opinion. Brutus, initially when Cassius had wanted that and Mark Antony should be murdered, then also he stopped Antony and said Antony is but a limb of Caesar. Now also he underestimates Mark Antony, and he tells that Antony is harmless, and he has overconfidence in himself also, and that is why he allows Mark Antony to speak at Caesar's funeral. But Cassius, who is more shrewd, who is more far-sighted, he is against this. So he understands that Mark Antony can become a potential threat to the conspirators. And this proves to be accurate. Why? Because in his funeral speech, in spite of the restrictions imposed upon him by Brutus, he is successful in provoking the people without breaking the condition. He successfully provokes the people against the conspirators and finally bringing their downfall. And the last one of this, what aspects of Antony's character are revealed during Act 3 and Act 4? So in Act 3, we find, and especially in Act 3, Scene 2, we find him deeply loyal to Caesar, deeply loyal. And he has great manipulative skills that you have already seen in Act 3, Scene 2, how he is able to bring the public to Julius Caesar's side. When Brutus had given his speech, the people were so pleased with with the reasons he offered them that they wanted to take him in a procession to his house. And Mark Antony began, they were not ready to listen also, but very cleverly, very subtly we should say, He took control over the masses. And also his sadness and the lamentations on seeing the mantle of Caesar, and he shows to them the hole made by the conspirators. And then he removes the mantle and shows the man. If this can make you so emotional, here is the man himself marked by the arms of the traitors. So you can sometimes, if you remember the lines properly, you can quote them. So this is where our very important Act 3, Scene 1 comes to an end. The remaining scenes also I will discuss in the videos. If I make it too lengthy, you all will not want to read it, or you all will not want to view this one. You all will feel bored. So that is why I'm going stepwise, because Julius Caesar is very important. Why? Because it is difficult. Most of you say that prose and poems तो चल जाएगा, लेकिन Julius Caesar, Shakespeare क्यों लिखा? Why did he write? No, 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 no. Without Shakespeare, your literature, knowledge of literature is incomplete. Anyway, Act 3, Scene 1. In the next one, I won't go for Act 3, Scene 2. You all can study it on your own. And Act 3, Scene 3 is also very easy. Next video will be about Act 4, which has not yet come. Act 3, Scene 2 and Act 5, Scene 1 have come, but Act 3, Scene 1, Act 3, Scene 3 and whole of Act 4. So I said I'm not going to discuss Act 3, Scene 2 and Act 3, Scene 3. You all can do it on your own, but Act 4 I will discuss in the next video, and then prose and poems. In one it will be prose, and so 3 more videos to come to help you to plan your study strategically, right? So bye for the time being. And my subscribers, I'm finding that they are going down. So it should be an upward job, and now it is coming down. So please, please, please share it with your friends and do subscribe to your channel, and don't forget this.